I just find it kind of funny that by this point, Thor and Loki are just household names because of Marvel and the cinematic universe.
Do you think that's how Norse mythology have like started originally? Like
Stan Lee?
It was the equivalent. Well, yeah, Stan Lee traveled back in time.
Stan Lee was born back then. He was like, I love these stories. I want the kids to hear them when I grow up.
No, but what I'm saying is, do you think in a couple hundred years, well, a couple thousand years, let's say, once technology has changed so drastically that we, like, humans don't remember the internet as it is now, like, they will, in that time period, think that Marvel movies, will think of it as like a mythology or like a religion or something like that?
Yes. And there will be no record left of the original movies either, because by that point, there's going to be like 27 reboots. All the old movies will have been cancelled for being offensive in some way and been burned to ashes and taken off HBO and Disney. So they will just be rumors. And we might have to find some Dead Sea Scrolls of the Marvel movies. By the way, it's pretty amazing that it took a fucking pandemic to stop Marvel from releasing a new movie every other week. Huh.
I miss Marvel movies, man.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything wrong with what they were doing.
Not wrong, just some...
I miss movies in general.
It got a bit too much. It got a bit too much. For a while, there was literally like two or three movies every month. That was too much.
Yeah, but now there's zero.
Yeah. I don't mind it as long as the movies are good and their track record is pretty solid.
Yeah, from a production standpoint, but they are kind of just like carbon copies of one another. Yep. You're going in and getting the same kind of experience.
Yeah.
Jackson,
I mean, I don't have an issue with it either.
If I gave you $1 million or $1 billion, what species would you make a documentary about? Dead or alive? Or extinct, rather.
Ooh. Like a specific species?
Yeah,
like
it has to
one
be
specific species. I can't choose the pterosaurs.
No, you can't.
I feel like I have to. Okay.
And it'll be...
Can I have time to think? It's kind of a big question.
Sure, how about you, Charlie and Andrew? It can be like a 10-parter, like Blue Planet, high production quality, but one species. It can be a person.
Are we allowed to choose people?
Sure.
Okay.
Can they be made up animals like the Loch Ness Monster? Or do
Whoa,
they have to
let's not be saying shit like that. There's no proof it's made up.
If you dumped $1 billion on the Loch Ness Monster, like, what are you gonna do? Just pump it all out? The whole
why are Loch Ness believers?
No, I would go have a holiday in Scotland.
Why are Loch Ness believers not as vocal as people like flat earthers and anti-vaxxers and shit? Why don't we have a passionate group of people out there going, God damn it, I swear that monster's real. I swear to fucking like, God.
Bigfoot has more fans or believers than the Loch Ness Monster, and there's like actual photographs of the Loch Ness Monster.
What happened to Nessie, man? He's getting shafted. History's forgetting him. Every other conspiracy theory is so much more important.
Cryptozoologists are really, they just kind of keep to themselves, man. They're not, they don't make themselves anyone else's problem. They just put on their dumb little heat vision goggles and they wander the woods in hopes to find paw prints. They don't really bother anyone. More power to them, I guess. You know,
I guess that's what I'm calling out. You would think that they'd be more vocal with how all the other fucking conspiracy theory people are getting.
I was going to say, I feel like UFOs were also kind of more of a thing like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I never hear about UFO sightings.
That's also true. Yeah,
that's because conspiracies have evolved. Yeah.
The aliens wiped our memories, Jackson.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Conspiracies have moved on from just like banal creature sightings to just more like political, socio kind of conspiracies.
No, I feel like it moved into the banalities. It went from aliens and metaphysical demon creatures wandering the woods like the chupacabra to
cool fun shit.
Oh, I think all of these politicians are secretly Jewish lizards or some shit, and they control us with vaccines and masks.
All right, well, that one's kind of cool too. I like that one too.
But it's not as
it's
not as fun. You know, just chupacabra is, to me at least, always going to be more interesting than, oh, Bill Gates wants to chip us all, which he probably does, but it's boring conspiracy theory. That's not interesting.
Yeah.
Give me something fun and spicy. Come on. Even Alex...
Now, if you were to say Bigfoot's trying to chip us all, that's when I'd be interested.
Yeah, that's when my ears would perk up too. That's an interesting one.
Because it's realistic. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, Bigfoot would totally do that if he was real.
He's just been plotting his revenge for 100 years in a cave out in the Midwest. Wherever he lives.
He's just a scientist.
Yeah, he's a super villain that keeps getting foiled. Every time he wants to enact vengeance, he keeps getting tripped up like a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
He shaved and just enrolled at university. He's just finished his degree.
He has a sensible haircut and speaks fluent English with a British accent.
What if Bigfoot was just reintegrated into society?
Yeah, we never knew.
We don't know.
Hey, I guess you could never prove it.
Among us.
You really could be here.
I don't know. I feel like if
you
Bigfoot
say you're
shaved,
a Bigfoot, huh? Oh yeah, prove it. Prove that you're Bigfoot.
How big was Bigfoot? I never got the sense of scale from the pictures.
To me personally, I feel like if Bigfoot shaved, he'd look like Ron Perlman. I don't know why. I'm thinking specifically of him, but if he revealed his birth certificate and proved it, I'd believe it. Just me.
Bigfoot or Ron Perlman's birth certificate?
I'm looking up a picture.
I'm
of
saying
Ron
they're the
Perlman.
same person, Charlie. I feel like Ron Perlman is Bigfoot. He just shaved.
I thought you were saying if Bigfoot shaved, he'd look like Ron Perlman, not actually be Ron Perlman.
Based on complexion, I'd say Ron Perlman is an albino Bigfoot. I could totally get behind that.
There's different kinds of Bigfoot. Bigfoot. What's the
sounded out, Jackson?
Big feet, yeah.
What's the plural of big feet?
Yeah, there's different. There's like the Himalayan Bigfoot. There's the Rocky Mountain Bigfoot. They come in shapes, sizes, and colors. And Ron Perlman is a medium-sized albino Bigfoot. You can tell by his markings.
Are they antisocial creatures, or do they mate?
They're very skittish.
That's what there's a big debate in the community. Some say there's only one Bigfoot that's eternal.
Yeah, the last remnant of a species, Jackson. They believe that he lives.
Eternal Bigfoot sounds like an anime.
You live with the dinosaurs.
Train them.
Betrayed them at the last second.
He made a bunker and hid in there and didn't let anyone else in.
He pushed the button that opened their giant dome and let the asteroid come in and crash onto Earth. Just said I'm sorry in dinosaur.
What if he's like he's like Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but for the dinos. He used to train them. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have made dinosaurs cool. The only time dinosaurs would be cool is if Bigfoot had a hand in it.
Yeah, if they knew martial arts, Jackson, then they'd be cool.
Dinosaurs are fucking cool. You guys are dumb.
And if your pterodactyls or whatever stopped that little edgy, I'm not a dino, Mom. It's not a phase. I'm a pterosaur. Stop that too.
Speaking of cryptozoology, or whatever the term is, what's that giant Mothman called?
Mothman.
He's called Mothman.
Yeah.
Oh, he is called... Okay, why are they ever creative with names, first of all? Well, is he the one that's like, he shows up before disaster happens?
No.
Oh, is that something different? Because I remember there being one, a Mothman that shows up before disasters in San Francisco and like a bridge crashed. It's like
you were mixing up so many different... Well, first of all, you're thinking of Goatman when it comes to a bridge, and Goatman haunts train tracks. And what happened with Goatman is a group of high schoolers a few years back went looking for him on the train tracks, and they didn't hear a train coming, and one of them got killed by the train, and they blame Goatman for it now.
But Goatman, he put a silencer on it? What did he do?
Well, they just didn't hear the train coming because they were so preoccupied with Goatman, and then one of them got like stuck on the tracks and died.
People are saying Mothman hangs around bridges as well, so I wasn't wrong with that. But Goatman's completely different. I thought Goatman doesn't hang around disaster points. I thought he was just like he was able to lure people in by making noises of other things. Like he could mimic your mother and pull you over.
Oh no, my mom around those train tracks. I always know she hangs out at. Let me go investigate.
It's like, Jackson. I made fresh cookies. How does a goat imitate anything?
Well, it's a goat man, not a goat.
When you get suspicious,
it makes a train noise.
Instead of your mom hugging you, you get headbutted.
That'd be pretty funny.
Mom, why do you have horns?
Yeah, but is that not Goatman? I thought that was the creepypasta Goatman, where he's able to mimic noises.
I think you're thinking of the guy from Police Academy.
Yeah.
Or that thing from
Just a talented
Annihilation.
voice actor.
Oh yeah, the bear
What's
monster.
that? Oh yeah.
Yeah, the bear thing.
Yeah.
You know the
Well, no, yeah, that's what I think that was inspired by.
of
No,
course.
probably not.
No, look it up. Look it up. I can guarantee you, Goatman is able to mimic things.
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Anansi Goatman story. That's it. That's the one that I'm basing all of this information off of.
What's an Anansi? Is it a place?
That's just what they call the Goatman, the Anansi Goatman.
Mm-hmm.
There must be multiple Goatmen. That's a skinwalker. What does that mean? I have a real soft spot or an interest in cryptozoology. I think some of the stories out of it are really fascinating and interesting.
I've always loved cryptozoology ever since high school.
Yeah,
I agree.
It always sucks when you find out that it's all horseshit. I really was looking forward to Loch Ness Monster.
There really hasn't been anything like that since like Slenderman, has there?
Nope.
Slenderman was the last big one.
Yeah.
God,
And even that,
the internet's just not built for it anymore.
no one actually believed in Slender Man. Wait.
Oh yes, they did.
I did.
There was
Oh,
the there was the middle schoolers
murder.
that
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, trying to summon Slender Man.
It doesn't matter if we believe in Slenderman. I don't think Slenderman believed in us.
All the ones that kind of follow in those footsteps aren't even nearly as good. Like Siren Head is one. Do you
Sucks.
guys know that one? That one's so
Is that
goddamn
a new
lame
one?
in comparison.
Never heard of
New
it.
one?
Are all of these
So
those-
Siren Head was
SCP.
this. Siren Head was like this art video that some guy made that's like 20 seconds long of this super giant, like Slenderman-esque thing walking around with a big siren for a head, and it blares like police sirens and ambulance sirens and news broadcasts. And it's like, oh, that's a cool concept for a monster. And then it caught on as the whole make a jump scare game out of it. Make a Siren Head's gonna get you copy pasta and
it's
like,
based on a SCP, and I think SCP fucking sucks.
oh god, SCP.
Yeah, that's what I was
fucking
gonna
went down the shitter so
ask.
hard.
SCP started off as awesome. I
It
loved
started out
SCP at the
really
start.
good and interesting, and then it just in recent years became one
Well,
of the
once you
shittiest
kind of-
websites on the internet.
Once you open it up to the public and just let the public kind of control that, like, you know, the direction of it, you start getting dumb
So
shit.
what is
And that's what they
SCP?
did. They
Isn't-
just let anyone...
Isn't that basically at this point just people writing short stories like on Tumblr
Yeah,
about
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyone can write short stories about SCP
From,
and it's like
from-
saved onto the wiki.
From the it was just originally like a formatted copy pasta or creepy pasta, where it was you would think of like a supernatural entity and write a government style report on it, and that was like the thing.
It's what Control's based off, Kai. I remember Control,
yeah,
the video game.
yeah. I
Is
remember.
Controls
Those are
based
good.
off SCP? Really?
Yeah, and it's
Oh.
it's the best form of SCP.
Yeah, it has
Huh.
that
Really
exact
cool.
same thing. You can like walk up to, I don't know, there's like safety glass, and behind the safety glass is like, I don't know, a toaster.
Like a typewriter.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
Something
There's a
mundane.
little-
And then later you find like an article about it.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can
Cool.
find
I
a
didn't
little
know that.
dossier about how that toaster used to only toast human flesh or some shit like that, and was paranormal. But it was quaint and nice and fun to read.
Yeah. So
it's a cool concept. I
So
love that kind of concept.
back on the earlier days of the internet, SCP was just kind of that, like a database for that. Like it was like, oh, this toaster, it looks like a toaster, but here's its backstory. Or oh, this is a camera, but when you take photos, they're corrupted. And it'd be cool because like you'd get a jump scare reading the article because they'd post the photo and it'd be like a scary face. Or my favorite, there's one called the Hang Kings Tragedy or the Hang Kings Play, where it's a play that if you read the script, it's normal. It's like a Shakespearean style work, but if people perform it, it starts getting more and more corrupted and demonic as they play it. And like eventually it always ends with everyone in the audience killing themselves. And like, it's cute. There's some cool ones on there. But in recent years, man, they just kind of opened it up and started making bad decisions. And SCPs are now like, she's a magical anime girl and she lives in an enchanted forest and her tears can cure cancer, but no one can ever bottle them. And it's like that's your SCP. There it is.
I fucking hate SCPs, man. And like everyone always recommends the SCP games like Containment Breach or some shit like that. I think it's the goofiest shit. Like here's a piece of paper that if you write on it, it makes your hands hurt for 2 days and 2 nights.
So normal paper.
All because of its...
He's not even wrong. Like that's an actual one.
Yeah, they're really dumb.
They've got.
I mean, to be
so
fair
bad.
though, it's not just that it's indie horror. Horror movies suck in general. They're terrible.
Oh, they're
so
terrible.
boring.
Yeah.
They're so. At the top of my head, I can't really even think of a horror movie that I liked.
Hereditary.
The problem is that
That's
most
the
horror.
only good one. Yeah.
The problem is that horror movies, most of them that use horror, it's the secondary genre. It's not like the primary focus of the movie when it's a good movie. Like it's kind of like they're mystery movies or suspense movies or action movies, but they have a horror theme. You know,
it's always like psychological horror.
exactly.
That's really the best.
Horror is the framework of the movie, not the primary genre or focus.
Yeah, I guess what I'm talking about is the stupid ghost paranormal horror. I've not once seen a good one. I get to me the creepiest ones are the one where the villain is an actual human being, and it's
like Seven.
I don't want to say it's plausible,
Seven's a great movie.
but,
Yeah,
you know, it's possible, I guess, that such a psycho could exist. But when it's just fucking ghosts rattling your cupboards, breaking glass, every single one of those fucking movies is the same. The Ring, that stupid other franchise where they kept saying that it's based on true events with the ghost hunter
Paranormal
couple.
Activity.
Exorcist.
No, the other one.
Yeah.
That one sucks too, but the one with the couple where they say it's based on true events and they are the ghost hunters.
Oh, The Conjuring. The Conjuring. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. They suck so hard.
Yeah.
The Nun, my God.
Though I will give Conjuring a little credit though, because that's just entertainingly goofy horror. It's like self-aware goofy horror, like as generic as it gets, and just trying to do it the best they can. So I don't mind that franchise.
I think the first two Conjuring movies were serviceable. They were entertaining at least, but the rest in that franchise, good lord, like the Curse of La Llorona or whatever. Ugh.
Yeah, it was fucking terrible. And the newest Annabelle movie was absolute dog shit as well.
Oh yeah, Annabelle.
These horror movies, I don't get it. The demons and the bad things in the horror movies have to be actual cucks. Because they will let, like in the Annabelle movie, for example, not to spoil things, though I don't think anyone cares, the girls figure out what they need to do to break the curse and get everything back in order. And Annabelle's watching them the whole time and just lets them do all of it. And then right before they're about to end it, that's when she decides to stop it and step in. But by then it's already too late. Like, I don't get it. These things are super powerful, apparently. And they just let the protagonist, like, take their shit and lock them away. It's weird. I don't get it. It's just all fucking terribly written. It's awful. And it's insulting.
The problem is they're never going anywhere, though, because movies like that are super profitable. They make a shitload of money compared to their budget.
People said that about the Saw franchise, though.
That never went anywhere. That went for nine fucking years, and then it came back after leaving. It's going to come back again.
Yeah.
I would absolutely bet money it's going to come back in like 5 years minimum.
I thought the reboot that they tried a couple years ago kind of bombed.
It did. It didn't do well at all.
But the thing is, the budgets are so low that it's so easy to attempt it. I saw a thing that talked about this a while ago. I think it's if you take the top 100 movies that gross compared to their budget, horror movies make up half of them, just because they're so cheap. And if one is successful, it makes so much money.
It's always weird, like, the math behind movies.
It's not going anywhere.
This is like when my mind was kind of blown when I found out that Jason Statham is pound for pound, I think, the most profitable actor. Because even though all of his movies are the same and most of them suck, no offense, I love some of them, but he's apparently he makes money if you hire him. These are the weird trade-offs. It's like horror movies suck ass, and I can't imagine a human who enjoys them or gets scared by them, but somehow they're profitable.
Teenagers.
It's like teenagers and middle-aged mothers.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Even then, I feel like
they eat that shit up.
Even teenagers, wouldn't teenagers just watch it ironically? Like the horror movies are the kind of stuff
but
that I would put on as a gag with my girlfriend because she's easily scared.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
And a sale is a sale, Kaya. They don't give a flying fuck if you like or hate the movie. They just want you to watch it and buy it.
That's true.
And that's what they do. Whether the teenagers are going to the horror movie because they go, oh, it's so scary, or they go, haha, this movie sucks, they still went to the movie. That's all they care about. They go
there to get their girlfriends scared so that they can cuddle up on them.
Yeah.
And tease them for it. That's genuinely what it is, though. Yeah. Like, it's a date night movie, kind of.
Basically, yeah.
It's for the couples who don't want to go see a romantic movie on their first date, so they take their romantic interest to see a horror movie instead.
Yeah. It's just horror movies are low risk and possible very high reward. So it's just easy to pump them out and not give. I mean, it's another reason that horror movies are so franchised and serialized. You make like the first Blair Witch Project, which was fucking phenomenally massive for its budget. And then it's sequel. Like, all right, let's make 7 more because we can make a movie for like less than $1 million each.
There's
and
actually
if
more
another one of them
guys.
is. Yeah, if even one of them is remotely as successful, we still make a shitload of money.
Well,
this doesn't get talked about.
What do you mean, Andrew? They didn't make a lot of Blair Witch.
Bad example, but Saw, there's like 9 of them. Child's Play, there's like 7 of them. Jason,
I'll give you
there's
a better
like
example,
13
man.
of them.
The fact that sometimes people pitch shows that they actually care about, but then it does so well that the network wants to pay them for multiple new movies or seasons. So they just have to pull shit out of their asses that they never wanted to do, never cared to do, never planned on doing. And for me, the prime example is Prison Break. Prison Break, the first 13 episodes are fine, but then apparently the network wanted them to continue it. So there's like 7 seasons and they all suck so much. It's the worst fucking show I've ever seen in like, I don't know, at least that I've seen in the last 5 years. But the first 13 episodes are fine.
When that shit happens.
This is sad. It's like sad that, I don't know. Could have just let them finish at 13, been a good show. Instead, you dragged it out until aliens were involved or some fucking stupid shit.
Were aliens actually involved in that show?
No, not aliens, but it was some goofy, dumb ass shit where what's his face? Michael Scofield he changes his name and disappears for 10 years, and his wife remarries and she has a child, and he now has to fight Poseidon. It's the dumbest. It takes the stupidest fucking turns, man.
Kaya, how many supernatural elements are in this show for real?
Okay, Poseidon is a CIA agent who wants to bone his wife. It's dumb. It's bad.
Is he played by Aquaman? Like, what are you talking about?
Hang on. I have to look up that actor. The guy who plays Teabag. Teabag actor.
Who the fuck is Teabag?
Teabag plays the racist pedophile, Robert Knepper. I love this actor.
Who are you talking about?
I feel like I'm not even hearing English anymore.
Okay,
it's like he's Prison Break code.
Prison Break had a character called Teabag.
Who does he play? A Poseidon or a pedophile?
Teabag, the pedophile.
Okay.
And he's amazing to watch, and he carries that whole show. It's not the bald brothers. No one cares about them. Robert Knepper is fun. I would hire that guy for a lot of movies. He's fun. But yeah, and anyway, that was just my example of a TV show that overstayed its welcome just because the network told them, dude, keep writing episodes. I don't care if it's bad, just keep writing. I don't care if your story is done. Keep writing.
I'm fine with it because like the good seasons don't cease to exist.
Yeah, but they do get ruined. Like look at Game of Thrones. Do you look back on Game of Thrones?
Jackson,
like, damn, that was great.
Yeah. Jackson, normally I'd be with you on that, but the problem is that it ruins your ending. Like if you're expecting a whole story, a whole tale, like here's a good comparison. Breaking Bad.
I don't think that's what Kaya was arguing. He's saying like there was an ending in the first season, but then it did so well that they then pushed.
No.
Andrew
So
Charlie
think
are
about
completely
this.
right, Jackson. So in Prison Break, the first 13 episodes are entirely about them escaping out of prison. But because they were told to extend the story, to keep writing just for the sake of extending the shit, at the very end, what they did was, oh, you guys, we can't escape because they welded this one pipe shut. That's literally what happens. Cue another season. It's the worst blue ball experience, and then it just goes downhill.
Yeah.
And it ruins
Jackson,
it.
Okay, no.
Jackson, can you
let me rephrase by saying I would be fine with it if like the first season or whatever had a fulfilling ending at the end, and then they continued on from there and fucked it up.
See, I don't
discount that.
I don't really agree with that either, because think about Breaking Bad. Like Breaking Bad was a perfect package where it had an ending that wrapped everything up. All the characters had their finales, and it was great. And Vince Gilligan was super pressured by AMC to keep going. He was like, I told the story, that's it, the show's over, I don't want to do it anymore. And it's like afterwards you get your spin-off stuff. It's like Gran Camino, fuck whatever, who cares. Better Call Saul, arguably just as good, but it has, it's a different story. Can you imagine though if after like Walter White died and the whole show wrapped up, if he was like, by the way, his ghost is haunting Jesse, and he's oh, we have to keep cooking from beyond the grave. It's like, no.
Yeah, 4 seasons later, they would reveal that he didn't die. He faked his death and stuff.
Yeah, God, exactly. It's
that's
like
the kind of stuff
it would put a smear. It would smear the original story. It's like let shows have endings.
Watching those seasons though, and just kind of mentally block it off at the end of season 5.
Why did you do that with Game of Thrones then?
Well, I was very invested in. Game of Thrones.
There's your answer.
That didn't have a good. No. There was no ending before that. That was meant to be the good ending, but they fucked it up. That's completely different in my mind.
I don't know. I'm very much a big fan of let the story play out as it should, and if people want more, you can.
I agree.
Work in the
fault
same
with
universe.
Game of Thrones was they didn't execute on the ending. Yeah. They didn't continue on after the ending. There just wasn't a good ending.
In their defense, though, they didn't even have an ending. Has George R.R. even written it yet? Still?
No.
Yeah. What has he been doing in lockdown?
Everything but writing. He can't write when he's
learning how to write again.
Yeah.
Just riding a tricycle around a fucking swimming pool. What is he doing?
He's learning a new language.
Yeah, he's learning Elvish. He's going to start writing Lord of the Rings fan fiction.
He's writing the newest book all in Japanese to challenge himself.
Just to challenge himself. I want a Game of Thrones anime. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree the only good horror movie of the last decade is Hereditary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've even seen it.
Oh, you're missing out. That movie's a joy. Except for the ending. I thought the ending was dog shit.
I feel like there's one or two others around there that were entertaining. I'm trying to think of them, though.
What was that horror movie that we watched, Charlie? The
One Missed Call
one? Yeah, that was good.
That was fantastic.
That was a lot of fun.
What was...
All right, it's that and Hereditary. Those are the...
Charlie, what was the one you and I watched about the girl who makes wishes?
Wish Upon. That's the word.
Wish Upon's a great movie.
Without competition. Well, that's actually our lowest movie moist meter right next to Birth of the Dragon, Jackson. Wish Upon is a movie about Joey King, I believe, is the actress. She gets like this ancient evil wishing box where you can make 7 wishes, but it costs you someone's soul. And she figures out that somebody dies every time she makes a wish by like the second wish. And then she still makes 5 more wishes for no fucking reason that are just really dumb wishes. Like, I wish I was more popular. I wish I could get this kiss. I wish I could skateboard. And without, not a single time is she like, I wish there wasn't this curse on it. Or I wish for unlimited wishes.
She doesn't even try. It's such an easy cop-out for like, if she makes the wish and the box starts shaking and it's like, no. But at no point does she ever try or think to try that.
Yeah, no, she like even when they're like I don't remember who it is, Barb from Stranger Things in it, and she says something about it. Even when she brings it up, she's like, "No, it's fine. I'll deal with the curse on it. It's not my souls they're taking." Until the end where it is, and she gets randomly hit by a car. But
go ahead.
It's genuinely the worst, and I mean this unironically, the worst written horror movie I think that has ever come out. And I don't say that lightly.
It features the most just comedically stupid protagonist the world has ever seen.
Oh, it is.
What about Unfriended? I still think that's the best.
No, Unfriended is at least like enjoyably goofy. This is insultingly dumb.
Hang on. Is Unfriended the one with the Game of Thrones girl who gets cyber stalked?
What?
No?
No.
There was a movie like that too with the girl from Game of Thrones who becomes this one swordswoman. But in that movie she's on the internet and she gets stalked and blackmailed. What am I thinking of?
No. I don't know. I'm talking about the one that was shot entirely for like Skype.
Kaya, is it a newer horror movie? I think I know which one. Is it newer?
I don't even know if it's a horror movie. I feel like it was like a PSA movie or something. What's the girl's name, Jackson? The girl who becomes she becomes the faceless girl, the faceless one.
Oh, Arya.
Yeah. What's her?
Maisie Williams.
Macy Williams. Cyber stalker movie.
Why don't you just look up her IMDb? She's not in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not. Oh, Cyberbully apparently from 2015.
Yeah, I guess. No.
There's so many movies with that same goddamn message. It's unreal.
Yeah. Well, the one I did just think of it. The last, I guess, kind of sort of horror movie that I unironically somewhat enjoyed was, I think, It Follows. That was somewhat creepy, and it was good.
That was creative too. I did like It Follows.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was creative. It wasn't like it wasn't amazing or anything. I wouldn't say it's an incredible exploration of the genre or anything. It's just pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Good indie movie.
I hear Sinister is actually good. Has anyone seen that?
I've never heard of it.
What's your
about the
boys?
boogeyman.
What's your boy's favorite horror movie in general?
Probably
What do you think?
Hereditary.
Yeah, definitely Hereditary.
I don't have one.
I'm a big fan of
about you?
Cube.
Oh, Cube
That's
is
not
good.
a fucking. That's not a
I wouldn't
fucking
call it
horror,
horror.
movie, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Are you kidding?
No.
People get
It's
not-
sliced into pieces.
How
That's
does
a
that make it a
horror.
horror movie? People get sliced into pieces in all kinds of movies. People get sliced into pieces in Avengers.
Dude, okay,
Is it like body horror? More
Andrew,
so?
if that's where
Cube
we're
isn't a
going.
horror movie. What is?
The Cube, which is, but I wouldn't say it's scary. It's not like horror. Just
Yeah.
like
There's no tension or anything, or even jump scares. Is there jump scares?
No.
Yes.
There's no jump scares.
there?
What are you talking about?
Yes, there is.
okay,
There's a scene where they
no.
open another cube and the corpse with his face melted off comes flying through it.
okay,
not
that's like a little. That's not a
That's
jump.
Not really a jump scare.
It's not their bread and butter. They don't do it
Then
throughout.
what is a
It's one
jump
scene.
scare if not loud thing happens and thing pops up on screen?
I guess, but
It wasn't
I would
loud though.
say-
It just dropped in. It wasn't like
one-
loud.
Alright, is it more of a horror movie than Saw, or is it just torture porn?
Saw's
it's not
also a
torture
horror
porn.
movie.
Meh.
That's saying Cube isn't a horror movie is like saying Saw's not a horror movie. They're very similar.
No, it's.
They're really
I guess
not,
it's
though.
horror, but I really would not call it like the primary genre horror.
It's just more of like
What
a
is it then?
psychological thriller type thing.
Alright, Andrew, can you sell me on it? Because it does look interesting.
Oh, it's great,
okay,
Jackson.
so
Tell them.
yeah, Cube is a trilogy. Ignore the third movie. I think the first
Third
two are
one
super
sucks.
good though.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
first two are
third one is
awesome.
absolute dog shit, and the second one's super mixed. I think the second one's good. I like it. Cube is a movie about 5 people who wake up in like a room it's just got 6 completely symmetrical walls, and they all have a door in the middle. And when you open one of the doors, it leads to another room with 6 symmetrical walls, and that's it. And they are left to their devices, and they have to figure out how to get out of this giant ass cube. And there's not much of a like premise, but dialogue and plot and character development wise, it's really good. And it's really
fun.
interesting and
Is
well
it like
written.
a puzzle movie? Is there like a puzzle that
yeah.
you have to solve?
Yeah,
of it-
I don't want to give
so
too much away, but
it's-
the cube is also deadly. Like it's laced with traps and people get killed.
Yeah,
and
no, I get
Yeah,
that.
the point-
but it's
like-
very, very well written.
The easiest way to describe it, it's like people in a maze, but the maze is a gigantic Rubik's Cube, and they have to find a way out, but every little cube has a trap in it, basically.
This is also for podcast veterans. I think this is the 3rd time we've talked about Cube, and I'm pretty sure
It's
all
a good
3
movie.
times Jackson has asked it every single time.
Okay, then
All 3
I
times
want
what?
once plug Hellraiser. Hellraiser is awesome too. It's not really scary, but it's very quaint. The effects for the time are fun, and it deserves a reboot of the tier of Mad Max Fury Road.
Can we just go back a little bit? All 3 times what?
all 3 times you have asked to explain Cube to you.
Well, maybe this time I'll
Jackson,
watch
do you
it.
need someone to explain the plot of Cube to you again? Are you okay?
I mean, I get it. I just what makes it special?
It's an indie
you,
movie
Jackson.
that has a lot of.
I made him explain it
Such
again.
a
I don't know,
snobby
it's-
question.
It's special because it's a cool premise that they actually did very well, and it's a very well written movie. That's
I'll
all.
watch it because I do remember you recommending. I believe it was The Circle, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
From a,
It's
I mean,
not.
it was
The Cube is
bad, but
better.
it was pretty.
I'm a big fan
entertaining.
of they're called bottle movies or bottle episodes where it's like the whole point is character writing because they take place in very few locations or in a very simple format.
Yeah.
Like trying to think of another good example. Sitcoms do it all the time where you have that one episode where like, uh-oh, we're trapped in the elevator, or oh, we're trapped in the freezer, or oh dear.
X-Files. They were called Monster of the Week episodes.
So they're called bottle episodes, and it's because the whole point is that they usually just take place in one location, like they're trapped in a bottle. So like nearly all of them are based entirely on character writing and dialogue and development and growth, and I think they're really fascinating when well done. So I just have a repertoire of these that I've burned through. Circle is one of those.
So Hellraiser?
Hellraiser's body horror.
Hellraiser's fun. The first one. Then it gets goofier and goofier and worse, but the first one is genuinely just fun to watch. I want to
Kai,
reboot.
remember when we watched Tokyo Gore Police?
Yeah, I still love it.
That's a classic. Is that the one where the guy's jizz forms into the name of the killer?
It's the one where the guy has like a cannon dick and he shoots bullets out of it. Or swords.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I think I'm thinking of Ichi the Killer, where some guy like jizzes on the street and it forms into his name.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know that one. That's not something.
Wait, this looks horrifying. What is this? Tokyo Gore Police? There's like a body walking around on swords.
Yeah.
No, there's like a crocodile vagina, some person who replaced all his limbs with swords, someone who replaced her eyes with like snail eyes. It's creepy.
No, that was a guy that did that. It was very creepy. I recorded that whole thing when we did it, Kaya, and I lost it. I still regret that.
Oh yeah.
This looks awesome. Holy shit. How have I not seen this?
Is this from it? There's a Japanese person with a crown of cocks around his head.
The crown of cocks. I was looking at that.
Yeah, I don't quite remember that.
This movie looks awesome.
It is. We should stream it or something. Isn't it on YouTube for free?
Shit.
Yeah, I'd be down to watch it.
I don't think we could watch it anywhere because there is like titties and crocodile vagina.
Well, we could stream the audio at the same time.
It's educational.
Watch along.
Yeah, we'll record the audio and put it on Patreon or something.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Yeah, instead of doing a book club each month, we should do a movie club and do that. Watch a wacky and wild movie together and release the audio on Patreon.
Well, if you want wacky and wild, Tokyo Gore Police is right.
It's right up there.
Holy shit, this is awesome. How have I never seen this movie?
Wasn't very popular, I don't think. I don't even know how Kai and I found it.
I don't remember.
We used to watch a lot of weird shit like that, though.
Well, we used to watch Turkish Star Wars and such.
Yeah. Turkish Superman.
There was a movie that you both watched, and I think I edited the video that went up on your channel. What was that? It was like a prison one.
No, it wasn't. You're thinking of Scamboli. It was Pinocchio 3000.
Oh yeah.
No. No, that was something completely different. There was a prison one, like a Japanese prison one.
Prison?
You remember that one?
Oh!
A Japanese prison.
Yeah, the one fighter who goes to prison and it's the corniest shit.
Oh, Ricky O!
Yeah,
Ricky O!
Ricky O.
Ricky O.
You are all free now. I love Ricky O.
He punches the wall and breaks it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so fun to watch.
Yeah, that was fun.
Ricky O's an awesome movie.
We should watch that.
Yeah, that was good.
That
We should
was
have movie
good.
nights again.
Yeah, I want to. That's cute.
All four of us.
We're not really friends anymore, so let's do it. Let's become friends again.
Yeah.
Do we have to?
Yeah, no. We'll forget about it once this episode starts recording.
I'm always down. I don't care.
Alrighty. There's a couple other things that we can touch on real quickly. A little note, because we talked about the Twitter hacking last week, it finally came out who the hackers were. They were aged 17, 19, and 21.
Really?
So they weren't any kind of...
Yeah, one of them lives in Tampa. Lived in Tampa. His life is over now.
So how'd they hack it?
Yeah, what kind of... They don't know the information for that.
Well, they did say there was some social engineering, so what the fuck did the 17-year-old do? Just blow some dude at Twitter? What happened there?
I don't know, but he looks like a villain. Like his mugshot, he's doing a Kubrick stare. Like he went all in.
He looks like one of those incel killers.
Yeah.
So what are the charges for this? Like how long is he going to? Because it's a federal crime, obviously. So how long is he going to be behind bars for?
Oh, it's 30 felonies. So forever.
Jesus. So his life's over. Is he charged as an adult at 17?
I assume so, since they've released his name, which they usually never do for someone underage. But his name's out there now. It's Clark. What is it? Clark something.
Graham Clark. So
Jackson
his
Clark?
life is fucked, ruined. Yeah, my fucking goals just get busted down.
So Kaya, this article actually has a little bit of what he was doing. So yeah, some social engineering. He was claiming to work for Twitter or something. I don't know how someone would fall for that, but I guess maybe if Twitter employees were working from home, it made it a little easier.
Oh, it's easier than you think, man. That's how most hacking works. You call the company and you go, "Hey, I'm working from home and I lost my login. Can you make me a temporary one?" Boom, there you go.
So does it say how they got caught?
Wow.
I'm reading right now.
So they were bright enough to pull this off, but I guess they weren't bright enough to understand the, what do you call it, the consequences?
No, they knew the consequences. They didn't plan on getting caught, Jackson.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't risk doing that when you're attacking like the biggest website in the world. I think they were just naive.
They made over $100,000. They were just smart. They had a.
That's not enough to spend behind. But they weren't smart.
They had a good plan. They just didn't know how to not get caught.
Well, that's not a good plan then.
Well, yeah.
That's like the most important part of the plan.
That's step one that you think of when coming up with a plan.
A getaway driver.
I mean, 17 kind of just screams
dumb.
Like, I don't think there was a whole lot of thought behind it, you know?
They're not. I guess they're not going to. I guess they're not going to reveal how they caught him, just in case somebody else tries. They can use the same tactic, maybe.
I'm surprised they only made 100,000. I would have honestly expected Elon Musk's followers to be bigger fucking idiots and to just wholeheartedly fall for it. So kudos to you guys, I guess, for not sending your life savings over Bitcoin.
All right, so apparently the 17-year-old was the ringleader as well. He was like the leader of this hack.
Apparently he only targeted one Twitter employee to like give him login information, and that's how it all started.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Well, that guy deserves to be fired.
I mean, think about it. You walk through an office, one person with their password on a Post-it note, or one guy who just uses the same password for everything, and you've got access to the entire fucking system.
Jesus Christ, this is such an underwhelming reveal. He just used a phone phishing attack. So he just talked to a Twitter employee enough. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's so fucking lame.
So there wasn't some kind of like he hacked into a terminal or
it wasn't anything
like that, or anything new or interesting. I don't think they were necessarily the most intelligent people.
I hope this can serve as a cautionary tale for you fine folks out there. Don't give people your passwords. Don't tell them your info. Just don't ever fucking do it.
I can't believe phone phishing shit like that ever works. I really can't believe it.
Well, it is Twitter employees we're talking about.
That is fair.
Yeah,
I don't think this guy might have just been like, "Hey, I'm in my first report on. I forgot my password. My paws are too big to get in the keys. Could you just send me a login link?" And the other furry at
not
the
even
end
that he could have. Not even that he could have just called him and been like, "Hey, can I have your password?" Like, yeah, sure. There you go.
And if need be, he could have got a little aggressive. I'll accuse you of racism or something.
I'm going to say something controversial. I don't think this guy should spend his whole life behind bars for this.
Nah, he shouldn't.
He kind of did Twitter a favor, if anything, like exposing their
they should hire him, in my opinion.
Like big weaknesses. Yeah.
All the idiots who sent him their money, I guess they should get it back. I guess maybe, but yeah, that's about it.
What I'm saying is the amount of damage that could have been done if the person accessing this was actually malicious could have been way higher than just stealing $100,000.
Do you guys think
30 or so people?
Do you guys think Jim Jong-il, whatever the fuck his name is, reads his DMs? Like, would he have seen it if somebody hacked Elon or Trump and just DM'd him cock photos and insults?
I'll bet you he's the kind of guy who spends 80% of his day reading DMs and getting super pissed about the things people say about him.
So we're not so different after all.
But yeah, he probably doesn't do anything about it, but he's just like, his constituent comes in and he's like, "Sir, are you ready for to depart for the meeting?" And he's like, "Look what this guy said about me online. Look at this asshole. This this big boy 69 in the chat here. Look at that.
this real
How can he
Donald
say that
J.
on my
Trump.
message board? Yeah, this @real Donald J. Trump. Look at this shit he's saying about me. How could he say that? What an asshole. And like his bodyguards are just fed up from hearing from him bitching about it. Look at this fucking kid. This Red Bean Lover 62 called me fat. Well, fuck you, Red Bean. He like writes a whole reply for it, but doesn't send it. I could see Kim Jong-un doing that.
He doesn't know English, thankfully.
Well, yeah, this whole conversation's in Korean. I'm translating it for convenience sake.
Does he not know English? I thought he studied it like a Swedish student.
He played basketball too.
Yeah, got obsessed with their cheese too and kidnapped 3 of their chefs to make it. That's a real fact. I was not making a joke. That actually happened.
That's not real.
That's 100% real. Kim Jong-un got so obsessed with Swiss cheese when he went to the Swiss university that one of the things he did when he took over the regime is he kidnapped 3 chefs from Sweden to make it for him and make him his own recipe. That's a real one.
Are they still there?
Probably.
Are they still in...
They're probably never going home. Also, it was either him or Kim Jong-il, but they kidnapped a movie production company from South Korea to make them propaganda movies.
Company?
Yeah, because he loved their films so much to make them movies.
Why did he just fucking hire them?
Because it's North Korea. That's not how they do things, Jackson.
Yeah, they don't have money. Yeah. They just have soldiers.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
No, he's not dead.
Not as far as we know.
True, it could have been a body double.
Impressive.
All right, you guys want to wrap?
Alrighty. Yeah. On that note, thank you for listening to this week's episode. The official podcast. Patreon.com/the official podcast for bonus episodes. Let us know if that idea of doing movie night for patrons is a good idea. Remind us about it frequently.
Sorry, Jackson, did people pick a religion for you yet?
Yeah, I haven't gone over it though yet, so I'll go over it this week. I think it was either Satanism or something called Pastafarianism.
Oh God,
I don't know what that is though. So
that's the cringiest one.
Pastafarianism is the
you're gonna be a Pastafarian, bro.
religion.
Yeah,
what
it's
is it?
I tip my fedora, haha, religion. It's basically Reddit if it was a religion. Congrats.
It's the flying spaghetti monster. It's literally a religion that was kind of designed to make fun of other religions.
So it's a religion that's just a joke. Well, that's kind of better to me than just actually becoming like a Muslim or something.
Yeah, but it's
like
kind of
devoting my
cringe,
life to
Jackson.
a religion that's real.
It's like
pretty
furryism
embarrassing.
as a religion. It's sort of embarrassing, yeah.
Yeah, well.
If you type in Pastafarian, almost every single person here looks like your quintessential Redditor, and they're all wearing spaghetti strainers on their head.
It doesn't sound like I have to do anything.
There was a trend for a while. They would try to get the DMV to accept their not selfies, but like photos of them with spaghetti strainers on their heads for religious reasons to, own the religious people.
Mm.
Yeah, well, there you go,
Right,
Jason.
Yeah,
That's
take
your
that.
Satanist or Pastafarian?
Well, we don't know yet.
Pick one until next week.
We didn't actually have any way to kind of quantify how many people voted or suggested what religion, so we don't know for sure. But
our gut feeling is highly scientific. It's good enough.
all right, well, I'm a Pastafarian now.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. Patreon.com/
We talk about a lot of things on this podcast, but there's something that I need to make sure. We talk about a lot of things people say about him.
Hello and welcome back to another Spotify exclusive episode of the Misfits podcast. I am joined today here by Swagger Souls.
Hello.
By Matt, of course.
Hey, yo, what it do?
And also a very special guest today. It is our hypothetical our hypothetical dealer of illicit substances. It is Captain Cooked. G'day, mate. How you going?
Hello. Very well, thank you.
Just to clarify a couple things, he's not actually a captain. At least I don't believe. Are you never a captain? Like,
I've never captained anything.
You've never captained anything. But Captain Cooked is the name that we've chosen to give to you for this episode, because obviously we don't want to be on the record saying any dodgy stuff this episode. But no, I mean, you are basically, hypothetically, the guy who hooks us up with the good stuff.
You're like a plug.
You know what I mean?
Like an agricultural producer, right?
I produce agricultural green produce that enriches your lives mentally, physically.
Good old Australian farmer. That's good to hear.
That's what I do. That's my skill set.
Yeah, and you've sort of been in the Misfits family for a while now, kind of popping in and out and sticking around and telling us stories. And, we've always found you to be a very interesting character. And so we've been talking about it for a while. Like, why don't we get Captain Cooked on the podcast? Why don't we ask him a couple questions, get a couple stories from him, and just see, like, what it's all about, I don't know, living the life like you live. Because we obviously live kind of weird, strange lives, but I can imagine that you do as well. And you've definitely told us a couple of stories already, which are off the wall. So, I mean, what comes to mind is like I don't know, something unusual that's happened in your life since you've gotten into this business.
Well, probably the first thing for your listeners, maybe set the story. It was super interesting when I first met you guys. It was via a letterbox, if you can remember that.
A letterbox.
Yeah, a letterbox. And it was funny, like, because before I met any of you, you guys probably would have done the same thing. You try and guess who's behind the other side of the letterbox, right? Because, there's a couple of celebrity types and famous types that I probably have dropped and met to in the past. And but you guys are one of those quirky ones. Like, what are they? And so initially, I've never told anyone this story, but initially I was like, I'm pretty sure there's two gay men living in an apartment together and want to remain anonymous and don't want to have that sort of confrontation with somebody. So my initial thoughts on you guys were you're possibly two gay men, maybe just walking around apartments in your underwear, rubbing oil on each other's backs. I don't know. But
what was it that gave you this impression? Because you started dealing with Ryan P. really, right? Like
yeah. Well, I think maybe once by chance, I think maybe I'd left the said letterbox, and just out the corner of my eye, I saw someone go to the letterbox, and then assumed people just wanted to keep their
anonymity or
privacy.
Yeah, privacy. So, and I thought, well, there's a reason for that, because at the end of the day, I think the general population that aren't involved in green agricultural stuff would be shocked at who I meet and who I have dealt with in the past. I think there'd be still that generalized stigma that people would there's just stoners, right? Classic Centrelink, dole, bludging, stoner. When in actual fact, I would say 95% of people that I've met have some serious issues, some anxiety, and they want to be anonymous for a reason, and they don't want to confront, and they've had bad trauma, and so I think that's the number one thing. But I used to love going to the letterbox and just thinking, who is this? And then, like I said, one day I think I did catch a glimpse of Ryan from behind and think, maybe it's just two big hairy men cuddling each other. I don't know.
I can definitely understand why you get that vibe as well, especially now that Ryan has these two little French bulldogs, and if you started today, then it would probably increase that.
You'd usually come out to the letterbox shirtless too.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably. No, I think he was dressed that day, but you can kind of tell too, based on people's language. Like, I'm a very observant person, right? So, you can get a vibe from somebody. Generally, the person that messages you go, "Yo, bro, what's up?" Like,
right.
Dickhead radar has popped up, and whereas a lot of people that message are quite fluent in English, which is nice. So you can get a bit of a vibe that way as well.
Right. Okay. Well, despite your initial preconceptions, obviously it turned out to be quite different than probably what you expected. And now
completely the opposite, right? Completely as far away from being two gay men cuddling on a couch as you can actually get.
Yeah, 5 gay men.
It turns out it's the Misfits.
A whole crew behind that as well. Like
man.
Just filming it and shit.
Yeah. So when was first contact like with meeting in person and actually having a chat and like getting to know Ryan or any of us?
I don't think. I think it was when you guys actually moved and went to maybe like your second large house.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, just by chance as well. I think we were still doing a letterbox at that stage as well. And then by chance, I can't remember, something may have happened that required me to actually come to the front door. And then and then I met a couple of people, and then I think the first time I kind of said to Ryan, look, I'm happy to meet you because clearly I do not need to break in and steal your TV and iPad. I'm good. And then he laughed, and then I think from that moment the relationship just grew and grew and grew.
Right. So it just broke the ice, and from there it was like every time you'd stop by, you just have a bit more of a chat, sort of thing.
Yeah. Plus, he had the best lollies as well. So like if I was ever going to break into their house, it was to steal the fucking candy. Like,
there's always candy. There's always food.
Well, the best story with candy was that day that I came to the other house, and Ryan was halfway through ordering $1,500 worth of candy, and then asked me,
oh my God,
asked me what would I like. That was the best day of my life.
Like, who the hell is this guy? Like, why is he?
$1,500 worth of candy. It was amazing.
Ridiculous.
Well,
Ridiculous.
Yep.
So I think the relationship, once that initial like, hey, this guy's just super cruisy and I just a regular person, I think that moment broke the ice, and then the relationship just grew and grew and grew.
Yeah. It must be so strange for Americans listening to this that we have to skirt around this topic, which is being decriminalized over there for a while now. But I guess Australia's lagging so far behind. But anyway.
There's nothing wrong with oregano.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of oregano, but a spice in your life.
Size, dude, of course.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. And
it was always cool when you came around, because it was like a long lost uncle coming around and then just telling his story.
Well, it's like Santa
all
coming
down,
in, bro. Comes in with his big bags full of gifts.
You got the presents
Santa,
and all the shit, and you sit us down. You just tell us the story for like 30, 45 minutes. It's fucking awesome.
And that's from my proper job. Like, I was always a storyteller. Like, I've always been good at being able to tell stories. So the being and doing what I do it's really just life experiences. You put yourself in a scenario, and then stories happen. And I don't know what it is about me. Everything in my entire life, I've always had all these crazy fun stories throughout my entire life, and I think maybe I'm just a natural storyteller, and so when I meet you guys, the fact that Ryan just encourages me to tell stories, it's one of those moments where it's kind of cool.
The podcast that you are currently listening to is brought to you by Kevin Hart's new action comedy series Die Hart. Starting July 20th, watch as Kevin Hart finally becomes a bona fide action star, only on Quibi. So download the Quibi app and watch Die Hart. That's Quibi, spelled Q-U-I-B-I. Now on to your regularly scheduled program. This episode is brought to you by Blue Apron. Let's face it, you're extremely busy these days. Your avatar needs to farm up as many rare minerals as they can so they can get that cool new Aloha shirt and level up. There's simply no time to think about meal planning. Luckily, there's Blue Apron to deliver all the ingredients necessary to cook your meals in as little as 35 minutes, meaning you can get back to saving the world in no time. Conquer that next level with a satisfied stomach and try Blue Apron today. Check out this week's menu and get $30 off across your first 2 deliveries when you visit blueapron.com/Spotify. That's blueapron.com/Spotify.
Yeah, I think Ryan's kind of the same way in terms of, gathering stories. He loves telling stories or talking about, something interesting that's happened. And yeah, I've definitely been stoned out of my mind on the couch, just eavesdropping on quite a few of them. We were talking before the show about a certain story that I've heard rumors about, but I haven't actually heard myself.
Same here.
Called the dominatrix story.
There's two.
If we want to dive into that.
Yeah,
there's two.
There's two dominatrix. There's two dominatrix stories, and so I'll go through the first one.
All right, I'm
first for you.
All right, man.
So I deliver to a lady, and like when I first sort of kind of started to meet her, again when I meet people, I kind of get a vibe from people, and straight away I kind of got this vibe from her that she was a very interesting person, and she never ever sort of when she would ask, oh, can you drop over, she would never sort of have any time criteria. It was like any time of the day or whenever, right? And I kind of assumed like she has a different job to what most people do.
Right.
So again, as she was very open and friendly, so I assumed like, she's obviously used to dealing with a large amount of, variety of people, because to be able to do that, she's obviously, involved. So I just assumed maybe she was into some sort of interesting career, and I kind of maybe thought she was either one, a sex worker, or two,
like an
potentially
escort.
a stripper, maybe.
Yeah.
But just out of the blue one day, she invited me inside, and then there was this rather large whip, which it looked like the cat of nine tails. If you've ever seen
Jesus.
that. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. She's like, oh, that's part of my trade. And so I'm like, right. So now we know each other properly. What do you do? So she said, yeah, I'm a dominatrix, and men pay me lots of money to tie them up and bind them, and then do fetish type things for entertainment and excitement. I'm like, right, okay, that's super interesting.
Yeah, that is so interesting.
That is cool.
Like she gets paid. I think they get paid a lot of
Oh
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of dudes out there that are into some super kinky shit. And so she was telling me once. So the more I got to know her, the more she sort of started to open up. And so she told me this one story where there was she was living in an apartment block at the time, and she would get a couple of complaints from fellow neighbours because she would have men bound and tied and then spanking them.
Screaming.
They were screaming like, ah! So people like,
oh Jesus.
Well, she often would say, like, she'd walk out of her apartment and the women would give her sort of these aggressive, offended looks, but the husband or the boyfriend would be like, hey guys.
What's going on in there?
Yeah, nice to meet you. And so she said, so she was living also at another house, and she said, look, the guy next door was kind of hot, and then one day he came over and said, look, my relationship is breaking up, but I know what you do. I'd like to, pay for service. And so she's like, okay, cool. So she said they organised the time and they went to her other apartment, and he turned up with a suitcase of kinky shit already himself, right?
Damn.
Wow.
Like,
All right, he came strapped.
Dressed for the job.
He came prepared for the job. And so she said, they're talking about what she's going to do and what he would like, and so they agree on a fee. And then he literally opened up this suitcase and starts talking to her about what he would like. And so the start of it was just to be bound and everything. And then he said to her and pointed to some sort of steel rods that varied in size.
Oh no.
And she said they were intended to go into the eye of his dick. And I'm like,
Oh!
what?
Oh, urethral sounding.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
I cringed straight away. I'm like, what the fuck? People want to pay for that? She's like, yes. He was totally into it.
Wow. I wonder if that's why his relationship was breaking up, his previous girlfriend wouldn't commit to the urethral sounding.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would walk away.
Fuck.
So she obliged. Like, she said she started with, small ones, and then, as they build up to sort of slightly thicker and longer, and she said she got to the point where she got the largest one, and then started to sort of push it in. And then
oh my God.
Let it go, and then she actually heard the sound of the needle hitting bone at the end of his
what?
at the end of his dick, struck the pelvic area.
She let it go as in like it went all the way inside, or
it's like suck itself in, like.
No, I think it's got it would look like a nail head right on the top of it.
Okay. It's plugged. Okay.
It wouldn't fully slide in, so it would stop eventually. But
man.
Oh God. Did he? Surely that hurts though. There's no way that feels good. Like I don't. That's what I kind of understand about this fetish. It's like it just sounds like pain.
I think it's partially pain, but if it goes in far enough, it could go to the bladder and touch the prostate, which I think is what makes them feel pleasure from it. But I don't know, man. I haven't tried. Yeah, really, fucking what cost?
Yeah.
What cost?
But she said he just completely got off on the whole process. Like,
damn.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Gives a new meaning to getting nailed. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Jesus. It'd be easy to piss after.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, true. Imagine the piss afterwards. That'd feel so amazing.
You just leak.
I don't know if it would. Anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. But so she basically had to, after that incident, I think she had a couple of sessions with that guy, but she kind of had to leave the apartment that she was, sort of renting and doing her side hustle from, because the same guy would tell her, bound me, and so bound the guy, arms behind him and legs, sort of in that, pushed up into his back section and completely bound. And then he would say, okay, now get my balls and pull them out behind me and stand on them with high heels.
Oh, what? Oh my God. Yeah, I've heard about this too. That is so strange.
Yeah, and so he was squealing like just so you can imagine the poor neighbors. They would have thought someone was being murdered in the apartment.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. I mean, how does that not do permanent damage?
Isn't that like the weight of an elephant on like high heels or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Hasn't that not like permanently?
Wait, was it on it? Okay, I don't know if you know the specifics, but was it on like the ball of the feet, or was it like on the actual heel?
She said that she started, so she would like sort of physically press the ball of her foot on his ass and then slowly apply more pressure to the point where then she was completely standing. So the ball would kind of be on his ass cheeks, but the stiletto would be into his ball bag.
Right, but surely the stiletto's not going onto the actual testicle itself. It's just like on the sack part, surely. Yeah, right. But fucking still, oh my God. What an absolutely wild profession to be asked to do these things. Well,
did she ever like hint at you like, oh, if you're interested or anything like that? Did she ever try to get you roped in? Yeah.
Well,
get you roped in, literally.
This is part 2 of that story. Then.
Oh shit!
Oh, no.
So it was only recently. It's probably about a month ago, and she said, "Oh, can you pop around?" So I popped around, and she said, "Listen, I've got a client who wants to do a wild role play. Would you be interested?" I'm like, what's the role play first? I'm not having knitting needles stuffed down my dick or someone standing on my balls with stilettos. She said, no.
Of course.
So then about 2 weeks later, she sends me a message. She's like, okay, can you be here at 1 o'clock on Wednesday or something? And so I said, yes, I can do that.
So just before we proceed, are you accepting this job like mainly just for the curiosity, being like, oh, this is interesting as fuck? Like, surely I just get this story into my belt, or like, what's the motivation for you doing this?
I completely did it just to see what actually was going to transpire. And,
I can respect that.
Yeah,
the greatest story ever.
Yeah, wow.
I just thought this was going to be the greatest story of all time. So.
Well, we'll see here.
So my role, I was meant to sort of do that sort of angry role play for a good 30 minutes, and So she messaged, so I was out the front, and then I said, I'm here, and she's like, okay, I'll message you soon. And so I'm sitting there, next message was, come through the door. So I walk up to the door, and I walk through, and I'm like, hey babe, I'm home. And so go through the whole part, and then here he is, sort of tied up again, hands behind back, legs sort of pushed up towards his back, all tied up in these sort of really well-presented ropes and knots and things.
Wow.
And so I did the whole, what is this? Are you cheating on me? How long has this been going on for? And then I turned my attention to the guy, and I was like, are you fucking my girlfriend? This is outrageous. And then he was like, oh, don't be mad at her. It was my fault. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I kept going on, and then so I was like, I'm so mad. And then I looked at her. You need to take this shit out on him. And then I said, I'm choosing the weapon, and you need to spank this dude as hard as I tell you. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
What the fuck? Was this awkward at all?
No, I loved it because I thought it was nothing to me. I don't give a fuck. I'm about to inflict some pain on someone I have no care about.
Holy shit.
So I would just shoot shit on the ground that she had. Like, first we started with a paddle, and I'm like, spank that ass. And then she's like, and he was like, oh yeah. And I'm like, if you make one more fucking sound, I'm going to stick something so far up your ass. And he's like, oh yeah, you're so tough, big boy.
Wow. Wait, so, like, I mean, it's probably like, I mean, at this point, no details too graphic. Is he like touching himself like during this entire process, or is he just getting off on the theatrics?
He was bound up, so he couldn't move.
It's just the theatrics and the spanking of it that's getting him off. That's good.
Yeah. And so this went on. We just progressively moved through her tools, from the paddle to whips to all kinds of things. And then she told me at the end of the 30 minutes she would signal because there was a finale. And look. How do I explain the finale? She told me to what I had to reach into the bag to grab, and she said, so once you grab that, she said, I may need some assistance from you helping, with what we need to do to set up the finale. And I'm like, yes. And she said, so once that's done, then you're free to leave. And I said, okay, cool. So we get to the end of the 30 minutes, and then I reach into the bag and I grab this ginormous black double-ended dildo.
Wow.
And so she inserts that into his ass, and she inserts that into her, and then they start gyrating each other, and I'm like, thank you very much, you've been a great audience, I'll see you later. And I left moaning noises as I walked out the front door.
Jesus Christ.
Just back out the room.
I just slowly left like that.
Wow.
Greatest thing.
Man. I can't believe you didn't stick around for the finale, though. You should have sat in the corner, surely.
Rub one out.
Fucking hell.
I'd seen enough for one day.
Of course. I mean, how did you feel walking out of there? Like,
I was kind of confused. Like, I'm quite kind of sensitive to touch and stuff, so I can't understand why people would want that physical, pain to occur to themselves. So, that's the thing that I couldn't get my head around. Like, how does somebody get off on?
Was it much more intense than you thought it would be? Like,
it was
Jerry?
super intense, yes.
Right.
Super intense.
Interesting.
Was she like screaming at him and shit like that? Like, how violent was it?
No, it wasn't. No, I don't think police would have been called, but it's still kind of...
Imagine that shit, knocking the door and the cops come in, the guy's all bound up.
Yeah.
Little did they know it's all part of the role play. They just tear off the action.
They come in, they're like, what's going on? Oh, you better spank this guy hard.
He's
We're going to have to write you a fine.
Their fucking batons out and go at it.
It would have been funny if they had him handcuffed me or something, and then the guy just like, holy fuck, I didn't know you were going to just go next level with this role play and get the police involved. Wow.
Oh, it's just so hard.
double the paycheck.
Yeah. So it's not really like it's kind of aggressive, but I guess it's more like sort of a controlling thing. Like you're gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this to you.
Oh yeah, well it's totally like it's obviously it's not like rape or anything. It's all like consent. Like they must like sit there for like 30, 40 minutes and go over exactly what's gonna happen. They probably have safe words, right?
Sure.
Yeah, there was during it. She would keep like sort of after spanking with certain toys, she would go up and he would always say orange. So I assume that maybe their strategy was maybe green, orange, and red. So
interesting.
I assume maybe red was stop, and green was no, harder, and orange was no, I'm comfortable. So,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, right there. Don't stop.
Yeah. So for me, like as soon as I pulled that big black thing out of the bag, I would be red.
Fucking hell. Wait, so did time fly in this room, or did you feel like you were kind of there for a while? Like,
no, it flew, yeah. It
really?
felt like I was there for 5 minutes.
I guess how couldn't it, right? How couldn't it fly? What a spectacle to be witnessed and to take part in, I guess, as well. You were basically just standing there the entire time, like just pretending to be upset.
Yeah, I was pretending.
Your arms crossed, stamping your foot.
Yeah. Such a strange thing to imagine.
Because I knew what was about to happen at the end. Every time I went to the bag, I couldn't take my eyes off this big black thing. I'm like, this dude's about to have this inserted. This is bad. This is wrong. I just couldn't. Yeah. So every time I grabbed another thing, I was like, holy shit, that's the last thing, man. This is about to go next level. So yeah. But apparently he's a regular client, and that's the way he gets off. So
yeah, I guess she probably makes a killing doing this stuff because man, it must be hard for him to find exactly what he's looking for. He's got very specific set of taste by the sounds of things. So I guess like being a dominatrix, keeping these guys happy is a pretty good gig, really.
I just don't know how you would advertise something like that,
Yeah, what do you?
Hey, you want to get your ass fisted? Call this number. Probably like write it down on bathroom stalls.
Yeah, like are you bored? Are you lonely?
Yeah.
Come to the House of Pain and I'll sort you out.
The House of Pain. Wait, so did it take place in her apartment?
Yeah, it was in her place, yeah.
So did her place seem like the home of a dominatrix, or was it sort of just a normal home, normal apartment?
Normal place, but this room, it was kind of where all the action.
It was a sex dungeon.
Yeah, it was dark. It was sort of mood lit. It was quite. There was something on the wall that kind of was in a timber sort of device that was in the shape of an X that I assume people had maybe strapped.
It was literally a sex dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking crazy.
That's wild.
Yo, are you still in contact with her? You still talk with her?
Sorry, I was like, can I get her number?
I was thinking maybe we could get her on the podcast. Might be an interesting person to interview.
That would be very interesting.
She would be a great interview. Yeah, she's got a really good, great personality as well. But I think she would probably like to be a whole lot more anonymous than myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would dare say she would have met some highly powerful people and potentially maybe signed some sort of a non-disclosure sort of document. I would have thought.
I guess, yeah.
In some instances, maybe.
Because you just know there's people in Parliament that are into this kind of shit, right? I mean, if there's regular people into this stuff, then there's people in powerful places that are definitely into this, and then some. So, yeah.
I've met CEOs that have bought produce. So, if CEOs are doing that, then people are into all sorts of kind of kink and stuff.
Well, that was a fucking really, it was a really interesting story. That was something else.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Did you like that, children? The audience is like, yeah, that was great.
Tell another.
Crack up. So would you say that's your most interesting sort of spin-off with a client? This dominatrix story.
That's my most obscure story in terms of meeting somebody and then somebody saying, hey, can you help me do this?
Good morning, everyone. Afternoon, evening, whatever. Thanks for listening. We know you all have a lot on your plate right now, so let's get down to business. We're here today to announce Kevin Hart's official retirement from the business of comedy. Sad, maybe, but no one takes Kevin Hart seriously anymore. And for him, that's a problem. That's why it's time for a change, a serious change. No more funny business. Kevin Hart will now be dedicating his life to the pursuit of becoming a blockbuster action hero. That's not a joke. He's a big man with big muscles, and he's ready to save the day. Lucky for you, in the spirit of total transparency, he's allowing complete and unfettered access to his training journey in Die Hard, the blockbuster series of the summer, only on Quibi. Unfortunately for Kevin, the series happens to be hilarious. Between death-defying stunts and an eccentric coach, played by the world's greatest action star himself, John Travolta, Hart finds himself hilariously in over his head. It's a fresh take on the classic action comedy genre, with action, explosions, surprise twists, and much to his dismay, Kevin Hart at his comedic best. Die Hard drops July 20th, only on Quibi, so go download the Quibi app and watch Die Hard. That's Quibi, spelled Q-U-I-P-I. Thank you for your time.
This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. No matter who you are, Squarespace can help build a website that works for you. Say you're a business owner who wants to promote your physical store and sell products online at the same time. You can do that. Or what if you have a big trip coming up and want to blog about it? Squarespace's customizable galleries allow you to show off your latest photos, videos, and ideas as you go. Maybe you're a bit of a show-off and want to announce your latest post with an email blast. Or if you're feeling shy, you can make password-protected pages to share your work privately. And if you don't know how to code, that's no problem. Squarespace provides drag-and-drop tools so you can visualize your site as you create it. When you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/misfits for a free trial and use the offer code MISFITS to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Yeah, I mean, good on you for saying yes to it. That's definitely a hell of an experience to have under your belt. And there's obviously engaging with things like that just out of sheer curiosity, like enrich your life so much. I feel just saying yes to crazy shit that that was a perfectly safe thing to say yes to, obviously, but at the same time, definitely out of most people's comfort zones, I would say. But now you have this experience, this insight, I guess, into that.
Do you remember
world.
the smell? Did it smell off in that room?
No, it smelled beautiful.
Oh, wow.
She
That's
had
good.
candles. Yeah, she had candles and things burning as well. So,
Oh, how romantic.
I said, I said to her, just as long as I don't want to drip, wax or something onto anyone, because I just can't handle that sort of
Actually hurting someone.
Inflicting pain.
Yeah, if you'd have asked me to whip him, it would have just been like a little, feather tap, like, "Ooh, how was that, big boy?" He'd be like, "Did you hit me?"
He'd be like, "Green, motherfucker."
Yeah, green. Double green. Go hard.
Well, no wonder this dominatrix smokes weed, dude. After that, all I'd want to do is just chill the fuck out and
yeah, because it was kind of
some
intense. Like, and for her to be a physical workout, like she didn't stop moving and spanking and everything. So yeah, it would be quite mentally. I was drained after it just doing 30 minutes. So.
You were just standing there screaming.
I'm just standing there yelling, "Spank him harder!"
That's actually
cheating on me, hit that ass.
Holy shit.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, well, why don't we talk more about like the business that you're actually involved in? Like, when did you actually, like find yourself going down this road? Like, how did you even find yourself getting into the oregano business in the first place?
Really bizarre for me, because not into never from any of those sort of illegal elements whatsoever, right? Clean skin, I guess, in terms of what others would say. So it was just born from being involved in a business and then that having a couple of issues with funny enough people not paying bills. So it was just born from having to generate cash quickly, and someone that I'd sort of had a relationship with said, "You should do this," and I'm like, "Rightio, that doesn't sound cool," but it's quite amazing how simple and easy it is to connect with people. like high-end and stuff. It's all just...
The harder product.
No, because then you're kind of into, large, organised corporations, which I never wanted to be involved in that level.
Right.
So, and you tend to find, too, like the community that you meet with genuine, down-to-earth, everyday people. So
yeah, I imagine the business that you're in is a whole hell of a lot safer than if you went into like something a little bit harder.
Yeah. And I think if you spoke to some of the larger players in the green produce, they would all say the same thing, that they sleep at night, whereas the other people would struggle to sleep at night, or need to take pills to sleep at night. So
because it's not only like the paranoia that might come with the job, but I think maybe also the guilt of like giving people like something kind of poisonous.
Or even just the security, like the safety of the job itself. Because, when you think about like weed, right, like what really is involved in the process? Like you have to grow it. It's a pretty easy, safe, natural process. And you farm it and then you distribute it, right? And then whereas the other stuff, there seems to be a lot more kind of like room for dodgy business in terms of cutting stuff. And like, I don't know, it just seems to be a hell of a lot more complicated in general, right? So
totally. And, being able to acquire stuff would be, a nightmare.
Yeah.
Imagine having, like there was the recent one that happened in Australia where there was a plane load that crashed up in...
I heard about that. A plane load of cocaine, right?
Yeah, I often think like, how does that work? Because, I don't know about you guys, but for anyone that's ordered anything online, you all know the anxiety of, you've ordered, the latest Air Max or the one-off shoe or something like that, and you're sitting around waiting for that tracker notification, your product will arrive tomorrow. You're like, sweet. Imagine having $80 million worth of product in a plane and then ditches. Like, you've got to be accountable to that for someone, right? To go,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, it's so fucking silly. I remember watching this one movie where, like, someone had I think I might have watched it with you, Cam. I forgot the name of it, but this guy went to, like, Colombia, and he was dealing with, like, the Sinaloa cartel. And they packed a plane, like a little biplane, filled with coke. And and then he tried his hardest to, like, pitch up at the end of this very small runway. And then he just managed to make it over the tree line. But in this scenario, they just packed a plane filled with a bunch of coke, and they didn't make it off a takeoff. It just fucking crashed, right? Crashed and exploded.
And I guess like that's just an unfortunate business expense in that industry. Sometimes, sometimes things just get fucked, and you lose, $18 million worth of produce.
Yeah, well, and a pilot, and a plane.
The pilot's expendable, guys. Come on, like. No, I'm kidding.
I assume, like, when you talk about cartel stuff, like, you can imagine that it would be probably the same scenario as what Coles would do. They would just write 10% off, with theft, right? The amount of produce that they would send around the world, and they had some poor bastard fly his plane into a group of trees, or, a shipment get caught. They'd be like, oh, well, that's okay. 1 out of 10 got caught, big deal. The other 100 million that we've just sold, big deal.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a numbers game for them.
Interesting.
But yes, but I'm glad I'm not involved in that shit.
Yes, you're obviously involved in the much safer industry of green dream produce. So you just sort of found yourself just falling into it because someone was like, hey, you should do this, like it's a good way of making money, and then
it's an easy way to make some cash, and it's funny how it just becomes then a network. Who knows somebody, this person knows somebody, hey, this person wants, and then all of a sudden you just find you've got a great network of people.
Yeah, and it's all very chill because it's, it's nothing too serious. It's just the green, the good stuff, and I guess, I mean, it's a supply and demand, right? It's always needed. People want it, right? There's a lot of people who want it. It's, you can't get it legally, so... that's where you come in.
I think back to that I said at the start. I think it's a myth that there's these stoners. There's probably stoners that just do it for the sake of it, right? But it's an absolute myth that people in this day and age, dealing with depression and, have to take a shit ton of drugs just to function on a daily basis. But then they just become so fucking cloudy that, they know that, well, this is not my personality. And their personality tries to come through the fog, but can't. And then so they're torn between, do I stay sane and logical, or do I just become this walking zombie robot? And it's.
Are you talking about prescription drugs with this, or are you talking about
I'm talking about people just going, you know what? I can't take depression medication because it makes me just so zombie-like that. They try and combat a lot of that with just sort of smoking to calm down. I've told Ryan this story as well, that I used to have a young guy who. I don't know what he had. I'm going to say some sort of autism or something. And,
epic.
And
epic.
Well, his mum would fund his smoking. And,
epic!
Yeah, and she was a super nice person, and but she tried to give him some sort of adult accountability, and he lived out in this little sort of bungalow at the back. And I could always tell whether he still had any left or whether he was clean out, because I would get there, and if he was pacing around the room in his apartment out the back, he was dry. But if he was just sitting in front of his computer, then he still had some left, and he was completely chilled. And, And so again, I'd walk in, and if he was out, the conversation, he would just be so scattered, and then just literally grab stuff out of you and have a smoke, and then just completely mellow within the space of 30, 40 seconds in front of you. And,
wow.
And so to see it firsthand, to see someone like that firsthand, it was incredible.
Have you? Oh, sorry. Have you found that during quarantine, during the lockdown, that your business has increased?
I've also become not only a seller of beautiful green produce, but a canceller. I've had that many people come out of their houses crying, in my car crying, staggering out.
Really?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, the government is saying, oh, this is taking a toll. I've seen fucking firsthand the toll it takes on people. And I'm not talking, most of these people still have jobs. But I've seen the toll this is taken on people. If they've already had anxiety, their anxiety is fucking spiking 1,000%.
Yeah, oh my God, I can imagine that. Just the isolation.
Yeah, so, and then people they cry, and I'm sorry to do this to you, and drunk and high and crying and emotional. And I just try and console and go, you know what, don't fucking worry. Like one guy I can remember saying to me, oh, please don't judge me, I've been drinking since 10 a.m. I'm like, bro, I'm selling you some green produce, as if I'm going to be in a position to judge you. Like, first of all, but second of all, I'm like, hey, just do whatever gets you through, and if you need to talk, just message and I'll come back past, and just do you, right? Just be you. And, that's the
good guy,
one
Captain Cook.
That's it. Yeah. But it's like it is. It's governments can stand up and go call this line, call that line. People aren't going to call phone numbers. I think if I can listen to them for 5 minutes and go, it's going to be okay. Trust me, just do you get through. Come out the other side, and we'll all have one big fucking green smoking party and go, fuck, that was a blast.
Yeah. I mean, for most of these people, you're probably, one of the only people that they're actually interacting with, like, in person these days due to isolation and lockdown, or at least the person who's impartial to their life, so.
Well, I think, you're right. It's like outside of their family, maybe outside of their work. Imagine there's work pressures, there's family pressures, there's all these things, and then they get to talk to good old me, and I'm just, totally liberal. Yeah, do whatever the fuck you need to do, bro.
It's just someone to tell them that, like, you're doing fine, you're doing okay.
I would
smoke some weed about it.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to be a fly in the wall and to actually see if someone's walked back inside and then the wife's like, you need to do this, you need to stop smoking more, and then they just turn around and go, yeah, but my fucking supplier just told me to do me, so fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's conversations that have been along those lines.
Yeah, man. Well, good for you, man. It's cool that you listen to people like that. That's definitely, I guess, going above and beyond for the client. But
yeah, well, like I've never rung any of those lifeline places, but I'm pretty sure that it's all quite structured and do this,
they have
do
systems.
That. Whereas they're not that. They really just want confirmation that what they're doing is the right thing and that they shouldn't feel bad about it, and they shouldn't. I think the government should change the fucking marketing and do you whatever you need to do, get through this. Like, stop going, we're all in this together. Like, we're not standing around holding hands singing Kumbaya, my lord.
Yeah, I feel in a lot of ways that, because you're seeing a lot of things, like every day on Twitter, it's like there's a little video that pops up in the COVID section saying like, okay, make sure that you stay healthy, exercise and eat right and keep in touch with people and do all these things or you'll end up in a bad place. If anything, it's probably better just to send a message of like, look, this really sucks. You might be feeling kind of shitty right now, but you're doing okay. Like we're going to get through this. Like that, this is, instead of placing all these expectations on people of like how they need to live in lockdown, just like, and maybe to legalize weed while you're at it. Hey, maybe just let people not feel guilty about,
just do like a trial run. Just do a trial run.
Surely, come on, guys. Like it will help us get through it. Like you never know.
I tell you right now, if the Prime Minister of Australia was listening to this podcast, I can guarantee how he could get re-elected. Right? Simply do this. ScoMo, if you're listening, do this, okay? What he should do, first of all, the government's fucked, right, financially. Everyone's fucked at some stage because they're handing out so much money. So rather than just taxing everyone a fuck ton of cash when we come out of this, maybe what you need to do is introduce a new revenue stream. And I think green produce selling would 100% grow a new revenue stream for you. But he doesn't have to legalise it right now. If he came out and said, what we're thinking to do is we're going to investigate whether we should legalise these markets and we should do this, and this would mean us taxing you less and grow our revenue blah 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 by this much, everyone would be like, fuck yeah, let's vote him back in. That dude is right on.
Yeah, or at least everyone with that, head on their shoulders would, I'm sure. Yeah, just something. I mean, ScoMo is an avid listener of the Misfits podcast, so I'm sure that he's received the message.
I'm sure he would be.
ScoMo!
Does he have kids?
Yeah, he does. He does, I think, have kids.
Surely his kids can give this podcast a listen. Come on. Convince Dad to legalize weed for us. Go on. Go on.
Imagine that. Imagine if he gave a shout out to the Misfits at a press conference.
He's like, they actually gave me this idea.
I'd like to thank the Misfits for being our consultant on this new program.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't that be epic?
Oh, be amazing. Incredible. But they should. They need to find a new revenue stream. Like you can only
for sure
tax alcohol and cigarettes so much, right?
Yeah, I feel like after the COVID is quote unquote over and like vaccines have been deployed and shit's like kind of getting back to normal. Like the economy is starting to recover. I really feel like a lot of countries and states in the U.S. are going to start being like, yeah, how do we jumpstart our economy? And then they just sit around a table and think for like 5 seconds. They go, weed.
Produce.
Yeah,
oregano.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer. Just look at America. Look at some of the states in America.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
The case study's there for you. Just open your eyes.
Is it your hope that it will someday in the near-ish future be decriminalized here in Australia and you can make your business legitimate and continue doing it for the foreseeable future, or are you just kind of in it for now for what it is, sort of thing? Like,
in it for now for what it is, but this is the number one question I get asked all the time, right? And it's interesting. So, well, you guys know, I guess, what it's like in the States, but I've got a contact that pre-COVID was traveling backwards and forwards to Canada, and he would always say that, like, tobacco and other things, that for as much as it started to become legalised there, the black market was thriving even more than what it was when it was deemed illegal, because what you have is you have they probably open up to new markets where people will be like, oh, I'd love to try it, but I don't want to, use Captain C because he might be scary and he might break into my house and steal my iPad. Right? whereas, the regular smokers are all like to the government, fuck you, we're not paying 10% just because you can legalize this now. Yeah, so
the regulations.
We're still going to contact Captain C. So. And then the flip side of that is that now Captain C has even far better product because, grow houses are now technically legal. So,
right.
yeah, there's a different scenario. But for me, this is not long term.
Yeah.
But that's the information I've got. That black market will still thrive when the community opens up. It still thrives.
How long have you been doing this for?
Maybe what? How long have I known you guys? 2 years, 2.5 years, maybe 3 years.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like because forgive me for saying you're like a fair bit older than us, so it's just it's such an interesting thing to get involved with, I guess, like at the age that you have, and just to I don't know, like has it been something that you've 100% no regrets about, or what?
No, you have that mental struggle. This is illegal. This is not
right.
Good. You do have those mental days and those thoughts.
But all in all,
money's nice,
and you get in some stories out of it.
And you get great stories, but you meet great people. Like everyone I meet, there's beautiful people.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But surely there are people that are disagreeable. Like, have you ever found yourself in situations where you were afraid, or like you felt like you were in danger, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been robbed once.
Really?
A couple of times I was rolled, and then one big one. Actually, the first one was kind of funny. Do you guys know the movie Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. Great film.
You know the opening scene where he goes to the farmhouse, and then the young girl runs through the field, and he yells out, "Au revoir, Shushala." Remember that part? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was one guy, young guy, and I kind of thought it was a bit of a dodgy setup, because what they do, right, is they go, "Oh, hey, I want," from a username, and then they tell you to go to a location. So you'll go there, and then they leave you on red for 10 minutes, and you're like, shit, and they don't respond. And then all of a sudden, someone else will pop up and go, "Oh, hey, I'm just down the road. Are you available?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, sweet, no worries." So very much coincidence, right? And so then you go there, and then sure enough, they try and take some product from you, right? So this first time, very funny. Go to a spot. This guy, he grabs, and then he just runs. Like, he took maybe four bags of broccoli, and then he's running across the field in the dark. And so I did the whole "au revoir, Shushala."
He must have been shitting himself.
As he's running away, he probably thought, "Shit, is this guy going to shoot me?" So that was the funny one. That's kind of like, oh well, that happens. The bad one was went to a notorious dodgy area, and a lot of these things come out of greed. Like, it was late at night. I should never have done it. I should have just been like, okay, today's a good day. Let's go home.
Yeah.
But you just go, oh yeah, no worries. And then it was funny because I had, your gut is the most instinctive thing, and I kind of thought this was weird. And then I got there a couple of minutes early and said, "Oh, I'm here," but I was already there. And then this guy came out with two other guys, and then I was walking towards them, and then they went in a completely different direction. And I said to him straight up, "Oh, your mates aren't going to come back and jump on me, are they?" He's like, "Oh, no, bro, no." So we go to a layway, and then sure enough, he's like fluffing around, and then his phone dings, and I'm like, "Oh, this is not good." And so sure enough, two other guys come around the corner, which is, at this point, I wasn't scared because, like, they weren't big, bikey, thug criminal types. They were just young kids. And so And then I'm like, all right, well, let's just get this sorted. And then he pulls out this massive 30-centimeter machete out the front of his pants. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you guys later. And then started walking out of the laneway. And then for some reason, I don't know why, but they just thought they would try and grab me. So one of them grabbed me from behind, and the other one sort of grabbed me. And then I calmly, like I was super calm at that stage still, where I just said, listen, let go. This is done. We're done. See you later. And then I started to walk, and they were sort of dragging off me. And then the other guy, for whatever reason, thought he'd be a real smarter, so he threatened me with the machete a couple of times, and then lifted it up to strike me, and then hit me. And then I punched one of the guys in the chest, and then ran.
No way.
Yeah, and then so, it's one of those moments because you've got so much.
Did he hit you with the machete?
Yeah, he hit me with the machete.
With the blade? Or?
Yeah, across my lower calf on the blade.
Oh, no way.
Jesus.
Your adrenaline is pumping so much. Like, you get back to, where you need to be. And then, it was probably a good 2 minutes. I was like, fuck, do I still have a leg? And I just reached and I went, oh, yeah, it's still there.
How bad was the cut?
No, it was just a fake, blunt replica.
So they were just fronting.
Yeah, so it broke skin because he hit me kind of hard with it, but there was no cut or anything like that.
Right.
And so that was my most terrifying moment. But,
holy shit!
How early on was that in the business?
Super early.
Right. And so was that enough to kind of shock you out of doing it for a bit, or were you like? Would you just learn your lesson and kind of move on from it?
Yeah, I think you just learn your lesson and then just put strategies in place. And like I said, your instincts kind of tell you. And so I kind of knew something wasn't right because for me to say straight up, "Oh, your mates aren't going to come back," like my instinct obviously told me I shouldn't be doing this, but stupidly you just go along and do it. So. Yeah, if you're observant enough, you kind of learn, people's languages and people's understanding. So now, I'm not greedy. I've got a network base, and that's it. That's all I do. Anyone else that messages like ignore, delete.
Right.
Don't need to.
Good for you, man. You figured it out. You got your system.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way to go, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, and that for one, that one bad story, like I've got a million beautiful stories. Do you want me to tell you a beautiful story on that sad?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's end on a good note.
Let's say this is I think apart from the dominatrix and probably knowing you guys, this is probably there's a couple of bands. There's one band that I dropped to that I got a #1 hit actually, but but no, this was good. So these guys were connected to that band that had a #1 hit, and they were performing at the Australian Open, and so they messaged me and they're like, "Hey man, can you meet at this location at this time?" And I'm like, "Oh, you couldn't ask." They went from Melbourne, this band. And so I messaged them like, you couldn't ask me to meet in a more difficult situation at that time during peak hour. And they're like, all right, we'll see how you're going. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I'm rushing to try and get there. And then I message them like, I'm not going to do it. Can we do something else? And they're like, yes, let's meet near the MCG. We're going to have a bus and we'll pick you up. And are you okay if we take you to our drop-off point where we've got to perform? And then you walk back. I'm like, perfect. That's great. So I'm standing on the side of the road. Next minute, this bus is flashing its lights, sort of like a larger version of a mini bus. I'm not sure, maybe a 15, 20-seater sort of type bus. So bus stops at the side of the road. All these guys pile out like, bro, high-fiving. I had no idea.
Oh, hell yeah.
I had no idea really who they are because they were referred to me by the other guys that I deal with that do live in Victoria. And so they were super nice and friendly. They're like, oh, we told you're a legend. Come on in the bus. And so I walk into the bus and like the driver's high-fiving me and all these band guys are high-fiving me and one guy's playing his guitar still in the front of the bus. And so I kind of positioned myself like, that seat right near those sort of automatic doors in the middle of a bus. I positioned myself right there. And so they're like chatting and talking, and the bus is taken off, and we're heading sort of backstage. And so we're chat, and then at that moment, like I kind of thought someone else was on the bus that was looking at me, and there's just the energy and the atmosphere on the bus. It was just really hard to sort of get your bearings and know who's who and what's what. And so we're like nearing the drop-off point at the back of the stage, the sound stage. And I casually turn around and look, and there's Billy Idol sitting on the back of the bus.
No way.
Billy Idol. And I look,
fucking way.
And then I look back, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's Billy Idol. I look back again, and he does this. I'm really bad at accents, but he's like, hey, man. And I'm like, hey. I did some real dorky, like, hey.
He's in his 60s now, Billy Idol, right?
Yeah. He's like 64.
Yeah.
He didn't look any different when I saw him in the 80s on, music videos. He looked amazing.
Yeah.
But then the issue was like, like on tour buses, like I was super worried, like, do I like have to wait for him to get off the bus when we stop, or should I just get off? But it was all sorted, so like the bus stops, and then security come onto the bus, and then the doors open, and then Billy comes strolling past, and then like pats me on the shoulder. I'm like, hey man, have a good gig. He's like, thanks, and then he walks off with his entourage, and then me and the other boys that I was talking to, we walked off, and I got back into the back section for a little while, and then that was my Billy Idol rock and roll experience.
That's awesome.
Fucking insane.
That's so
I should have wised up. I should have wised up that there was going to be some other big rock star on the bus, because like if you speak to a lot of the new ones that talk now and play music now, they're all into that. It's about the music, it's entertainment. Let's smoke to get chilled, right? Whereas, in Billy's day, it would have been all about, record companies just giving them whatever they want. Probably wheelbarrow loads of cocaine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was like sex, drugs, and rock and roll in the 1980s.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what the staple was.
That's how it was, right? Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man.
So I should have known that there was a rock star on the back of the bus, because when they said, oh, we're on our way, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'll see you soon. And then the next message was, by the way, do you have coke? So I should have kind of known that there was going to be a rock star on the bus, but no coke,
no coke.
Sorry, Billy.
Just Billy Idol.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, man. Who knew that your business could take you to such high places? It's fucking amazing. Fucking
such
awesome.
high places. I see what you did there. Good one. Yeah, well, I mean, thanks for coming on and sharing those stories with us.
Thank you, Captain Cook.
C.
I think that was amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Those are some great fucking stories. I'm sure that our Spotify listeners will love listening to them, man.
Always a pleasure talking to you.
Always
a pleasure.
Always love chatting and meeting. I'm glad I could fulfill your day with some exciting stories and content.
No worries. I would, tell them to follow you on your socials, but that's probably not how this works.
No.
So we'll remain anonymous.
Yeah.
And we'll end
just
it
for the
here.
record, all of this was alleged. This is all alleged.
All hypothetical.
All hypothetical.
This is an improv podcast.
This is an improv podcast. Yeah,
Content.
nothing is real.
It was all for content, right?
All for
All for content.
That's
None of
right.
it was real. It's just a disclaimer.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks
Goodbye,
for listening.
Patreon.
Bye,
Patreon. Jesus
no.
Christ. Oh,
Sorry,
I'm
shut the
autistic.
fuck up.
Here, hang on. Fucking stop. Sorry. Bye, Spotify.
Bye. We'll smoke some weed about it.